My name is Emily Carter. I am 42 years old, and for most of my life I believed I had a peaceful and honest marriage. I live in a quiet town in Oregon, a place where the mornings are calm and the streets are lined with tall trees. Our house is small, painted white with blue windows, and in the front yard there is a garden full of roses that I planted many years ago. Every morning used to begin the same way. I would wake up before the sun. The house would still be quiet, and the air inside the kitchen would feel cool and calm. I would slowly start making coffee while the first soft sunlight entered through the window. The smell of fresh coffee always filled the house. A few minutes later, my husband Daniel would walk into the kitchen with sleepy eyes and messy hair. He always smiled when he saw me. "Good morning, Em," he would say softly, and I would smile back and answer, "Good morning." That was our routine for many years, simple moments, quiet happiness. Daniel would sit at the table reading the newspaper while I prepared breakfast. Sometimes he would reach out and hold my hand across the table. Sometimes he would kiss my forehead before leaving for work. Daniel had always been very gentle and kind, especially with children. Whenever we visited neighbors or friends who had kids, he was always the one sitting on the floor playing with them, making silly faces, or helping them draw pictures. Sometimes I would stand in the doorway watching him laugh with the children, and it always made me smile. I used to think that one day he would be a wonderful father. At that time, I truly believed my life was perfect. I believed my husband was the most loyal man I had ever known. I believed there were no secrets between us. But life has a strange way of hiding the truth until the moment you least expect it. I met Daniel 15 years ago in Boston when I was a university student. Most of my days were spent between libraries and small coffee shops. One afternoon, I was inside the Boston Public Library searching for a book for my research, but I couldn't find it anywhere. Just as I was about to give up, a calm voice spoke behind me. "Are you looking for this book?" I turned around and saw a tall man holding the exact book I had been searching for. That man was Daniel. He had dark brown hair and kind blue eyes. There was something calm and warm about him that immediately made me feel comfortable. I laughed softly. "Yes, actually I am," he smiled. "I saw you checking the same shelf 3 times." We both laughed. That small moment became the beginning of everything. We sat together at a table in the library and started talking. First about books, then about college life, and slowly about our dreams for the future. Hours passed without us noticing. After that day, we started meeting regularly. Sometimes we walked through Boston Common Park. Sometimes we sat on quiet benches watching people pass by. Sometimes we stayed in small cafes until they closed. Even silence between us felt comfortable. One rainy evening, while we were walking toward the subway station, Daniel quietly removed his jacket and placed it over my shoulders. "You'll get cold," he said. That small gesture touched my heart more than any romantic speech ever could. That was the moment I realized I was falling in love with him. 2 years later, Daniel asked me to marry him. He took me to a small restaurant near the ocean at sunset. After dinner, we walked along the beach while the sky turned orange and pink. Suddenly, he stopped walking. Then he knelt down in the sand and held out a ring. "Emily," he said softly, "my life became brighter the day I met you. Will you marry me?" With tears in my eyes, I whispered yes. Our wedding was small but beautiful. When Daniel looked at me while saying his vows, I believed every word. I promise to love you for the rest of my life. After the wedding, we moved to Oregon because Daniel received a job offer there. The town was peaceful and surrounded by forests and mountains. It felt like the perfect place to start our life together. We bought a small house and slowly turned it into a home. Weekends were spent gardening or watching movies late at night. Sometimes we cooked together and laughed when something went wrong in the kitchen. Life was quiet, but it felt perfect. For 10 years, nothing seemed wrong. Daniel always kissed my forehead before leaving for work. "I'll see you tonight." And every evening he came home. But slowly, almost so slowly that I barely noticed it. Something began to change. Daniel started coming home later than usual. At first, it was only once or twice a week. Then it became more frequent. When I asked him about it, he smiled and said work had become more stressful. I believed him. But small things started changing. Daniel began carrying his phone everywhere, even during dinner. Sometimes his phone vibrated late at night, and he would quietly leave the room to answer it. Once I woke up around 2 in the morning and noticed the bed beside me was empty. When I walked into the hallway, I saw Daniel standing outside on the porch whispering into his phone. When he noticed me, he quickly ended the call. "Work problem," he said, but something in his voice felt strange. Days passed, but the feeling in my chest did not disappear. Then one evening we were watching television when Daniel's phone vibrated again. He looked at the screen and immediately stood up. "I'll be right back," he said quickly. He stepped outside. The night air was quiet, and through the open window, I suddenly heard a small voice coming from the phone, a child's voice, soft and innocent. "Daddy, when are you coming again?" My heart froze. Daniel quickly turned away from the window. A minute later, he came back inside. I tried to sound calm. "Who was that?" He didn't hesitate. "Just work." But that night I couldn't sleep. Something inside me kept whispering that the truth was much darker. A few days later, Daniel left for work very early. I stayed home cleaning the house like I usually did on Saturdays. While organizing the closet, I reached into one of Daniel's jackets. Something heavy was inside the pocket. I pulled it out. It was another phone. My hands started shaking. I turned it on. The screen lit up with dozens of messages. Most of them were from someone named Sophia. My heart pounded as I opened the conversation. "The kids miss you." Another message. "They keep asking when their dad will visit again." My breath stopped. There were photos, too. 2 children, a little boy and a little girl, standing beside a woman with long brown hair. They looked happy, like a family. My entire world collapsed in that moment. That evening, Daniel came home. I was sitting in the living room holding the phone. When he saw it in my hand, he froze. The silence between us felt heavy. "How long?" I asked quietly. Daniel looked down. For a long moment he said nothing. Then finally he whispered, 6 years. The words felt like a knife through my heart. 6 years? I repeated. "You had another family for 6 years?" Daniel stepped toward me. "Emily, please listen." "I saw the messages," I said, my voice shaking. "I saw the photos of the children." Daniel looked desperate. "I didn't plan this. It just happened." That sentence made my anger explode. "It just happened," I shouted. "You accidentally created another family?" Tears streamed down my face. 6 years of lies, Daniel." My voice was shaking so badly that I could barely breathe. "Every morning you kissed my forehead, and then you went to another woman." Daniel ran his hands through his hair. I was confused. I didn't want to hurt you. I laughed bitterly. You didn't want to hurt me? You destroyed my entire life. My chest felt tight. Those children, do they know you're married? Daniel slowly shook his head. No. I stared at him in disbelief. So you lied to them too. The room felt suffocating. For 15 years I believed I knew this man, but the man standing in front of me now felt like a stranger. Daniel stepped closer again. Emily, please. We can fix this. I pulled my arm away when he tried to touch me. Don't touch me. For a moment we just stood there, breathing heavily. I still love you, Daniel said quietly. You're my home. My eyes filled with tears again. Your home? I whispered. Then what do you call the other house? Daniel had no answer. The silence was unbearable. Finally I stood up. I couldn't stay there anymore. Daniel followed me as I walked toward the door. Emily, please don't go. But I couldn't stay. Not in that house. Not in that life. I opened the door. Cold evening air rushed inside. For a moment I looked at the blue windows, the rose garden, the home I once believed was perfect. Then I stepped outside, and I walked away. Sometimes the hardest goodbye is the one that finally saves your life. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe for more emotional stories. Thank you for watching.